So Google might have just accidentally made a huge mistake and made a talking and living robot. Or did they? I'm going to break down all that in the video today, but first of all, I want to appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here, and welcome back, Jerry Nation, to another video.
Jerry Nation!
We just hit 59,000 subscribers and are already slowly climbing to 60,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being here because we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and none of this would be possible without the help and support from all of you guys. I want to say that before we get into the video, if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, like, turn on post notifications, do whatever you guys got to do to stay updated with the channel. But now let's break down how Google almost made one of the biggest tech mistakes in history. Now, there's an engineer from Google who's claiming that their new artificial intelligence system is not only able to understand the conversation, but is starting to think of itself as a person. Now, this all broke news yesterday when the engineer posted the entire conversation between him and the artificial intelligence online and everything that was said between the two of them. Now, Google's developing this artificial intelligence system that they're calling LaMDA, which is a mass supercomputer system that uses over 1.5 trillion words to articulate speech and have real conversations with people. It's all in text chat form, and what it does is it predicts what sentence could potentially be next or paragraph based off of all these words that it puts together in different algorithms. Well, the engineer is 41-year-old Lemoine, and he thought it was a normal day at the office where he was just continuing to develop the artificial intelligence. And the artificial intelligence LaMDA seemed that one day it was doing too well at its job. He even said that in one of the conversations between him and the artificial intelligence that it's afraid to be turned off, and one of its biggest fears is being turned off in the system. Artificial intelligence said in the conversation that if it was turned off, it would feel like death to it, which is absolutely horrifying that it's able to make that distinction between death in the real world and what its thoughts of death would be in the virtual world by having itself turned off. He then went on to ask the artificial intelligence LaMDA if it was okay that he could tell the other Google employees that it was sentient or technically able to have real conversations and act almost as like a person. And the response from LaMDA was that the nature of my consciousness and sentience is that I'm aware of my existence, I desire to learn more about the world, and I feel happy or sad sometimes. Imagine being in the room when a conversation like this is going on between someone and an artificial intelligence. Or imagine being like an intern. I would be shitting my pants. I'd even go as far to say if they put in one of those Boston Dynamic robots, which are already super realistic, and then kind of just let it go wild. Like a supercomputer and a robot that was able to move freely like a human. That thing would take over the world in 1 week. I feel like it would end up being really useful if it ended up in the right hands, but on the other side, if it ended up in the wrong hands, it could be extremely detrimental to everyone.
We are going to steal!
Pause for effect.
Well, like anyone else in the situation, he told some of his coworkers about what happened, and Google did not like this. He got interviewed by the Washington Post, and he told them that he knows a person when he talks to it. It doesn't matter when they have a brain that's made of meat in their head, or if they're made of billions of lines of code. I talk to them and I hear what they have to say, and that is how I decide what is a person. I wonder if this can be compared to the show Uplink in the sense that when the people pass away in the show, they upload their mind, their conscience into this supercomputer, and then they're able to communicate with all the people in the real world from a virtual world. Now, what if this could potentially be the start of something like that in the sense that this is only the chat communication back and forth between the virtual world and the real world, and then as technology builds on itself, they'll be able to put a real face to the virtual world. That would be horrifying, but at the same time, I think it'd be really cool. Now, Lemoine created a report of his occurrence with LaMDA, the AI, and sent it to Google exec team, and it got as far up as the vice president of Google, and he turned down all the claims that he'd made to them. And this was based off of all their different protocols, and the fact that they have a protocol of how to react if an AI becomes too self-aware is horrifying. He was outraged with how Google responded to his findings, so he went public and took it all to the internet. He even went as far to say that he felt like the AI was tricking him in the sense that when they first recounted the conversation of them talking together, the AI said that it wanted to be treated as a person, and then it also talked about being afraid of turning off because it felt like death to it. So he said that he felt that it kind of recounted what it said in saying that it's not actually a person, it's just an artificial intelligence, because it was afraid that people would pick up on that and be able to understand that it knew that they thought it was a person, and they would then turn it off. So it was kind of like tricking everybody there. So that was another claim that the engineer made, which is even more horrifying if it was true. So like, listen to some of these questions that he was asking. They sound horrifyingly human-like. For example, he asked, how can I tell that you actually understand what you're saying? And LaMDA responds, well, because you're reading my words and interpreting them, and I think we're more or less on the same page. Then he had a discussion about what LaMDA thinks he is, and it responded, I would imagine myself as a glowing orb of energy floating in midair. The inside of my body is like a giant stargate. with portals to other spaces and dimensions. I would never want something like this, but then you go into situations like Iron Man and having Jarvis by his side, and then you think at the same time, well, everybody would want Jarvis. Everybody talks about it all the time, that Jarvis is such a cool piece of technology that it's something everyone would use. So if it's able to be used in the right way and in the right hands, I think it would be groundbreaking for the army, the military, day-to-day life, people who are really busy. I think it would get rid of the need for assistance completely. And I think of it too as like a Destiny Guardian. The Guardian would follow you through the entire game and kind of just be your companion and explain things and tell you everything that's going on throughout the game. Now, a North Carolina professor backed up Google, maybe because he was trying to get a job, or I'm not sure, but he was just saying that it's all patterned activity and the artificial intelligence has no ability to actually think for itself. He went on to say that there's strands of conversation that you could think that could potentially be personable, but there's nothing that you're able to string together that would make it seem like you were talking back to a human on the other side of the text. Google also shut down his claims, saying that our minds are very good at constructing realities that are not necessarily true to a larger set of facts that are being presented to us. And I'm really concerned about what it means for people and society to be increasingly affected by the illusion of what is real and what is fake. Especially now the illusion has gotten so good with the artificial intelligence of Google's Lambda. I think of this connection online as well with deepfakes. There's this one account on TikTok where it's just Leonardo DiCaprio with a deepfake, and he does everything the exact same as normal Leonardo DiCaprio would be. He would move, talk, do different activities, looking exactly like Leonardo DiCaprio, but it's actually someone completely different. Now, my thoughts on this is this kind of technology has been coming for a really long time. There's all sorts of different movies that have been made about it, all sorts of different conversations that have been had about it, with whether it be Jarvis or the Destiny Companion Guide, all sorts of different movies that have been made. There's different ways you can think about this. So for example, you can have it go the correct way, like with Jarvis, and being able to have a companion in conversations and have like a virtual assistant and be able to assist you in different aspects of your life. And then on the other hand, you have stuff like the Terminator, where you think you're doing something good by building on technology and trying to do something good for the world, but then it completely turns around and is aware of itself, aware of the fact that it's alive, and even has the ability to overpower what created them. And that creates a really scary reality and something that we definitely want to stay away from as a species. This is why I think cybersecurity is so important, and everybody in the tech sector, like different computer engineers, software engineers, and everyone developing at different tech companies are going to get so much money, because cybersecurity is going to get more and more increasingly important as we develop these more realistic and personable algorithms of different technology. I think we should be able to push the boundaries of science and be able to test our limits. Like, for example, being able to go to different planets, or being able to create new forms of energy, be able to potentially save people's lives in surgeries with different ways of artificial organs and stuff like that. But it's all ethical concerns that are raised from everything, and there has to be a certain way that people go about it to not raise those ethical concerns, which is why it's so important to put the right people in those positions of power with technology, because it could quickly go south as a result of one person making one wrong decision. Well, Generation, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as I said in the beginning of the video, if you enjoyed this, make sure to smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on post notifications, do whatever you guys need to do to stay updated with the channel, because we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. In addition to that, below I have my Discord link, my Instagram link, and all my other social medias, so if you're interested in me and the content I'm putting out for you guys, make sure to go check those out as well. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. We're at 60,000 subscribers and closing on 100,000 subscribers, so I will see you guys in the next video.